All right, now this video is pretty much, for the most part, unscripted, and I kind of need your help here. This video is asking the question, what are the shows would you like me to review? Now, I was actually going to say this towards the end of 2019 and maybe at the beginning of 2020, but I've been having some very good discussions with some friends over the past couple weeks about, the channel itself and, just life in general in terms of, man, 2019 is coming to a close quick. What are your goals that you kind of want to reach before the end of the year? Or do you have any things in mind for 2020? And looking back, I was just thinking about the fact that this has been a crazy year, personally, career wise, if you will, financially and what have you. But I just keep thinking to myself that this time last year, the haves and the have-nots was pretty much the only thing I was reviewing consistently. If Loving You is Wrong, I really wasn't talking about it in terms of a review. This time last year, the only If Loving You is Wrong videos I had were, when is the show coming back on? It's been gone for over half of the year. What's going on here? And this year, I took advice. I finally did If Loving You Was Wrong. It was a hit. I felt like I was able to just kind of flow right into the story. And then after that, I figured, after the haves and the have-nots wrapped up, why not jump into Ambitions? Because I was going to give Ambitions the Love Is treatment of, okay, let me jump on a series as soon as it premieres. And if it's a hit, then I know I can bring in a lot of new traffic to the channel. Unfortunately, didn't really get those kind of results because a lot of people, because of the fact that If Loving You Is Wrong, Greenleaf, and the haves and have-nots weren't on the own network at the time, people weren't tuning into Ambitions. Those who did, for the most part, said it wasn't that great. But honestly, I like the show, and I don't mind reviewing it, at least until the end of season 1. Then next thing you know, The Oval and Sisters have come on BET more recently. Those shows, they're doing all right on the channel so far. They're hanging pretty steady, but I get it. They're the number one, number one and number three new series on scripted series on cable right now. But too bad my views don't really reflect that. And I was just thinking, wow, this time last year talking about one show. Fast forward to November this year, I'm reviewing like half a dozen shows. Busy all the time. I got way more things to post, more groups than ever. And yeah, I mean, I'm blessed. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like, it's crazy to think that I was going from, oh man, what is my next video going to be about, to, okay, what show am I going to talk about today? There's a lot of stuff for me to cover. And thank goodness I took the advice of a lot of people to review more than the haves and the have-nots, because I certainly was not expecting a 6 month hiatus, because trust and believe, if I didn't, get my butt in the gear, I would have been screwed. I might have had to have a part-time job or something to make ends meet, because I wouldn't have content to cover. So thankfully, things like the Alex baby daddy drama, and then of course Greenleaf, the AJ and Grace situation at the tombstone at the end, that's brought about a lot of attention. So yeah, this has been a great year for the channel. Today, at the time of the recording of the video, we hit 97,000 subscribers. We need less than 3,000 more to finally hit 100,001, because, I only get the award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. So I really just wanted to kind of make this video as I kind of, calculate, if you will, the ups and downs of the channel this year, and kind of reevaluate a few things, because I know Tyler Perry has Ruthless and Bruh, 2 new series he has coming to the BET Plus streaming service. But I've just once again been reevaluating what to do, because moving into 2020, I really want to take things up a notch. Once again, hitting 100,000. Just some ideas I have off the cuff. I want to do interviews with cast members. That would be great. And really kind of expand, if you will. Like, I don't know what 2020 is going to bring. I really want to know how the channel is going to elevate once we hit 100,000. Just so you know, the haves and the have-nots is still going to happen. I'm still going to be reviewing that with a passion. But I don't know for a fact if I'm going to be reviewing half a dozen shows, while some of the shows aren't giving me the numbers that other shows are. For example, Ambitions. Love the show. I think the cast is fantastic. They're some of the most interactive cast I've ever had the pleasure of communicating with online. They retweet videos and things like that. But at the same time, the videos aren't getting the traction of a have and have not or Greenleaf video. But the show is still in season 1, so I will give it a little more time. Because when I first started reviewing it this season, I was like, dang, we're at episode 4 and the videos aren't really doing much at all. It wasn't until like the last half of the first 10 episodes we got that things really started picking up. And people were telling me about my tags and everything. And I was making sure I had the right hashtags. And I have a tag list for certain, like I have a tag list for ambitions, have and have nots, of loving you is wrong, Greenleaf. And basically I think that's like, what is it, like a 500 character tags you can put in YouTube videos, kind of like on Instagram posts. And finally things picked up there, so I'll give ambitions a little more time, at least until the end of season 1. The Oval and Sisters, let me just put it this way, if those shows are still running while the haves and have nots comes on next year, like in January, those shows will be pushed to the back burner. Like, I will most likely still be doing videos, but they won't be as urgent. Like, I'll post them like later in the week because have and have nots will be taking priority. It's not confirmed, but there are some sources that have been hinting that Greenleaf might be returning in January. I don't know how I feel about that. I honestly hope it doesn't, just because of the fact that in terms of my schedule, I think it would be convenient to have Greenleaf come on when the haves and the have-nots isn't on the air, just because of the desire to watch OWN. I don't think it's great to have everything going at the same time, but that's just my opinion. I know Greenleaf isn't a Tyler Perry show, so I love the idea of the haves and have-nots and If Loving You Is Wrong trading places instead of coming on at the same time. I know from a viewer perspective, it's like, dude, man, I want to shut up. I want to watch the shows. As a content creator, it's like, okay, I'll work my butt off. I'll make a decent amount of income via the videos, but at the same time, I want to hit a dry spell period unless those mid-season finales are very good or if they're things worth talking about. Because to be honest, the Oval is picking up steam. Sisters is pretty consistent, but they don't really bring about the same level of in-depth analysis as the haves and have-nots and If Loving You Is Wrong and Greenleaf, as of yet anyway. So I know there have been numerous shows that people have been begging me to review for the longest time, but I haven't done it yet because, well, my thing is, I really don't like reviewing shows I don't like myself. Like, if I watch a show and I get into it, then I'll review it. If I watch a show but I'm not feeling it, then it does feel like work. It feels like the pains. It feels like being forced to watch something, because you can tell by my tone and demeanor in videos if I'm having a good time, if it's really a thought-provoking video where it's more serious because there are a lot of things to cover, versus a video that I feel like I have a lot of disdain. And I don't want to get into the pains too much. I've already got a playlist for that, but that show really just irked me, where my reviews were longer than the episodes, if not the same amount of time, and the entire time I was just bashing the show, and that just felt wrong. I just didn't have it. It didn't sit right with me. So I know recommendations have been like Empire, How to Get Away with Murder, things like that. Honestly, no need of reviewing that stuff because, number one, they're about to end, and number two, I don't really like a lot of gore or blood or anything. So How to Get Away with Murder, I'm good on that. Empire, I kind of fell off after season 1, and trust and believe, I realized that if I would have started Empire reviews by around the time I was into the haves and the have-nots, the channel will be in a different arena, but it's okay. Things are meant to happen the way they're supposed to happen. I know Saints and Sinners is highly recommended. Really, what I would like is if you can give me a show that doesn't have a lot of seasons already completed, because that way I won't have to play catch up too much. So if you have any recommendations, make sure you comment below. Hey, Jeremy, here's a show I think you might like. And if I don't pick the show you recommend, don't feel bad. I appreciate you participating. Like I said, I'll do my own research after you recommend it. It's like, hey, this show has X amount of seasons out. Hey, this show is rather new, but it's got a good following. That's what I'm really looking for here. Something that's kind of easy to catch up on, or I can at least jump into the story with, because I feel like when the haves and have-nots comes back in January, I want to feel like a new person, not because of the amount of subscribers I have, not because it will be a new decade, but the fact that I feel like almost a more experienced veteran in the game because of the fact that while the haves and the have-nots has been off the air, I've been tackling a lot of other shows, so I feel more experienced, and I really think that I'm either going to look at the haves and have-nots season 7 as a great, it's finally back, or I'm going to be like, I don't know if it lives up to the hype. And kind of moving back to the BET Plus side of things, Ruthless and Bruh, I did the poll on the channel yesterday, and a lot of people don't have BET Plus, myself included. I've said this a couple times before. I got it originally during its first week for the 5-day free trial, but then I dropped it because I'm like, everything on BET Plus, BET already airs it a lot. I can watch this on other streaming platforms that I already have access to. I could find the DVDs for certain shows and movies for clearance at Walmart or something, or it's just once again something that's either overplayed or already have access to. So there's nothing on here that really piques my interest. So originally when BET Plus first came out, you were talking about like, I don't think it was advertised, but I was thinking, what did they have 106 in Park and the BET Awards and everything? Maybe they'll have like, from the early 2000s and whatnot. All they had were like the most recent ones. I'm like, I'm not really a big on that. It's like if you had, like maybe the first couple seasons of 106 in Park off the rip, with AJ and Free, or, shows that used to come on back in the day. Like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I know there was a lot of good stuff I used to watch. But I was thinking, okay, I'll drop BET Plus and I'll get it back once the Tyler Perry shows are on there, the original content. Yes, I've heard a lot of great things about First Wives Club, but I looked it up and I didn't know they dropped like the entire, is it 9 episodes of season 1 in one sitting? I don't know how I would review a show like that. Like, let's say, for example, Ruthless comes out and Tyler Perry drops like 5 episodes at once. I don't know what... I mean, the obvious thing to do would be episode reviews on every episode, but I don't know if I feel that's a good way of doing it. I don't know. It depends. I think I'd really be interested to see how he's going to do the format. I mean, I think like a couple episodes, 2 to 3 episodes at once is pretty good. I know a lot of people nowadays want things right now, but if you binge a season in like one sitting, then what are you going to do? There's no anticipation. Like, if, let's say in theory, Tyler Perry drops Ruthless the entire season, which is, again, speculation, 10 episodes. Let's say it's 10 episodes. I don't see the point in doing reviews on it because of the fact that there's no theories to talk about. Unless I watch all the episodes, there's some grand cliffhanger, but that's about it. And again, I'm not trying to knock the show before it even comes out, but I'm just trying to think of a proper evaluation / review style for it. I mean, if anything, I would probably just do like one big video going over the season as a whole. But once again, I'll figure it out as we get closer to the date. And going back to the poll about BET Plus, a lot of people not having it, and trust and believe, I wanted to get it and keep it because I wanted to support, the fact that you had a lot of black creators, producers, writers on BET Plus. But there are just so many other streaming options now, and got to be careful with money because it's the holiday season, moving into a new year, then getting ready for taxes and whatnot. So I'm being very careful how much I spend and what I spend it on. And I honestly don't see the point of getting BET Plus, doing videos on these shows, but a majority of my audience doesn't even have BET Plus. You see where I'm coming from? Because that's like $10 a month. And on top of that, time and effort spent on doing videos on shows that most of my fan base probably doesn't even look at all. So I could be spending my time and energy on something that a majority of them do watch, because last time I checked, over 81% of the channel is female. So all I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, that's why I'm doing this video, for recommendations. And I'll try to look into some of these shows you recommend and do, just an evaluation of my time and scheduling. to see if I could do videos on it. So with that being said, guys, I just wanted to thank you all so much for the support. If you're watching this, I hope you tell at least a couple of your buddies on social media. Just say, hey, this guy's almost at 100,000 subscribers. Let's help him out. We need less than 3,000 and we're almost there. So 2020 is definitely going to bring about some changes. I just feel it. So yeah, get in the comment section. Let me know some stuff. What do you recommend? What would you like to see on the channel? And I will take it in consideration and see if we can readjust things accordingly. And yeah, that's all I got. So you know the drill. Social media links are in the description below. Make sure you like the video, and I will talk to you all later.